you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. We are going to conquer the middle of this week to explore total wellness in order to reach for your goals and in order to live your dream life. And today's episode might sting just a little depending on where you're at, not because it's extreme, not because it's judgmental, but because it challenges habits that we've normalized that are quietly wrecking our sleep. That's right, sleep. So today I'm going to say an uncomfortable truth, and then I'll tell you what the critic might usually say to that truth. I'm going to explain why that criticism makes sense, and then walk you through what the science and the physiology actually shows. And then we're going to finish up with a clear and doable action step to help you get better quality sleep. This isn't about perfection. It's about alignment with how your body actually works. So let's go. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with here is the snooze button isn't extra sleep. It's prolonged grogginess. The claim here is that hitting snooze, it doesn't help to wake you up. It often keeps you foggy longer. And some of us may already know this, but the critic would say, but snoozing helps me wake up more gently. It's like 5 to 10 minutes more of extra sleep. Why that feels reasonable is because sleep inertia, that groggy feeling, that feeling is a real thing. And people assume that easing out of sleep will help with this grogginess. But what the physiology actually shows is that repeatedly hitting that snooze button, it causes multiple forced awakenings, keeping that brain stuck between sleep and wake. For many people, this extends sleep inertia rather than resolving it. Some people tolerate snoozing better than others, of course, but if the mornings feel consistently brutal for you, then snoozing is often part of that problem. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee talks about this all the time. I think he wrote about it in his book, Feel Better, Live More. He talks about these mini stress signals that you send your body in the morning. It's these mini events that happen that help to pump up the cortisol, that helps to get that adrenaline rolling in your system. And if you think about it, you're in a dead sleep and then an alarm wakes you up. Like, when in the natural world would that ever happen? Well, you get that huge little cortisol spike, and then you hit snooze and it happens again, and that happens again. And then we get out of bed and we probably look at our phone and we look at the news, and it's just traffic and work, and it's just constantly getting us all in the beginning of the morning. So your action step for this one, just use one alarm if you have to use an alarm. Put your alarm across the room, whether it's your phone or an alarm clock. I like to put your phone out of the room, but put it across the room, bare minimum. And then anchor a consistent wake time. And this means even on weekends. Consistently waking up on time is one of the things that sleep experts say that'll help you with your sleep the most. Fix mornings by improving your bedtime consistency as well. So not snoozing more, but actually setting yourself up the night before so that you don't have to do this little snooze, hitting the snooze button thing. So the first one that we're going to talk about here is the snooze button isn't extra sleep, it's prolonged grogginess. The second one, time in bed is not the same as high quality sleep. The claim here is that saying I get 8 hours, it often hides poor sleep quality. A critic would say, I'm in bed for 8 hours. That should be enough. And it feels reasonable because we've been taught to equate quantity with quality. But what the science actually shows is that sleep is fragmented throughout the night by light, by stress, by alcohol. Some people have breathing disturbances, late night stimulation. Maybe your neighbors are loud. Many people overestimate how much sleep they're actually getting and how restorative that it can be. You don't need perfect sleep every night, but chronically unrefreshing sleep, this is a signal that it's worth listening to. So an action step here, ask one question each morning. When you wake up, ask yourself, do I feel restored? If the answer to that question, do I feel restored, is no, don't just add more time. Improve your sleep drivers instead. So find that regular schedule, sleeping and waking up. Make yourself a sleep sanctuary, a dark room, low stimulation. Make sure that your room is only for sleeping and sex. Think about not trying to do all of your work in your bed, not watching TV in bed. All that you should be doing in your room is knowing that when your body walks into that bedroom, your brain knows this is where sleep happens. And definitely work on breathing health. If you are someone that struggles with sleep apnea, if you've been told that you snore quite a bit, this is something that really should be addressed in order to help with the sleep quality. So number 2, time in bed is not the same as high quality sleep. Number 3, that 2 a.m. phone check, it wakes your brain up more than you think. Even short nighttime phone use can really degrade sleep quality. The critic would say, I fall back asleep immediately though, so it doesn't matter. I just quickly check it and then I'm right back to sleep. Sleep onset feels fast, so we assume that sleep quality is unchanged, but the physiology shows screens combine light, novelty, and here's the big one, emotional activation. Even brief engagement can shift the brain toward lighter sleep afterwards. They even say that if you wake up in the middle of the night, I know a lot of people that look over and check the time. That is also one thing that can really be not beneficial towards getting better sleep once you go back to sleep. So you're stimulating that brain. You're like, oh no, it's 3 a.m. I'm waking up. Am I going to go get back to sleep? I only have a couple more hours before I have to get up. Like all that stuff starts racing in your brain. So if you do get up, maybe you have to go to the bathroom or you just randomly wake up, no stimulation there. Try not to check your phone or the clock. Occasional use won't ruin your life, but habitual use, it's going to chip away at your sleep depth. Action steps here. Phone out of the bedroom if possible. And then use the do not disturb function on your phone. There's a do not disturb function plus emergency contacts if you're worried about receiving a phone call in an emergency. There is a setting for that on your phone. If you must check, it really does help to turn your phone to grayscale, get the brightness all the way down, and then only boring content. So if you are checking your phone, it's not going to be social media, it's not going to be emails, grayscale, low brightness, and boring content only. Number 3, that 2 a.m. phone check, it wakes up your brain more than you think. Number 4, weekend sleep-ins. They feel like recovery, but they actually create social jet lag. I hear this all the time. Yeah, I only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep during the week, but I get a ton of sleep on the weekends. But big swings in sleep timing really disrupt your circadian rhythm. The critic would say, I'm just catching up on my sleep. It's all going to even out, right? I'm just catching up on the sleep that I lost. I don't have anything to do on the weekend, so I might as well get it all caught up on the weekend. It feels reasonable because sleep debt is a real thing, and rest feels necessary when you need it. But the science shows that large shifts in sleep timing are associated with worse mood, worse metabolic markers. The body prefers regular timing on a lot of things like eating, sleeping, all those kind of things, physical activity, even more than just sleeping extra hours. The nuance here is that sleeping in a little is probably fine. Like it's not something that you should freak out about if that happens every once in a while. Sleeping in 3 hours every weekend, it just creates this biological whiplash. So some action steps here. Keep wake time every day, even on the weekends, within about 60 minutes of each other. If you wake up at 7:30, keep it within 60 minutes of that time. And if you do feel like you need to recover with earlier bedtimes. not extreme sleep-ins. So hit it on the back end, on the night before, rather than thinking that you're going to get it on the wake up in the morning with extra sleep-in time. And you can also take short naps earlier in the day if needed. So almost like catching up on your sleep debt with naps, not huge naps, but little short naps earlier in the day if needed. Number 4, weekend sleep-ins feel like recovery, but they create social jet lag. Number 5, falling asleep instantly everywhere is not a superpower. I've heard people brag about this. I can fall asleep anywhere. I fall asleep on a plane. I can fall asleep in a car. The claim is that instant sleep can signal excessive sleep pressure. A critic would say, I've always been like this. I just sleep really well. I'm able to do this anywhere. And this may seem reasonable to some. We associate fast sleep with good sleep, but the physiology shows that healthy, rested adults typically take 10 to 20 minutes to fall asleep. Even your My Aura ring that gives you scores for your sleep, it gives you your best sleep score when you've had about 15 minutes of latency, meaning it takes you about 15 minutes to fall asleep. That's when you get your best sleep score. Consistently falling asleep in under 5 minutes, it often reflects chronic sleep deprivation. Your body just needs it. Now, the nuance here is occasional fast sleep is fine, but constant, anywhere, anytime might not be. So your action steps here, if this is you, notice daytime nodding, notice caffeine dependence, notice constant fatigue. If you have these things, daytime nodding, caffeine dependence, constant fatigue, then address the duration of your sleep. Address the consistency of your sleep time, waking up and going to bed, and then possibly address sleep disorders that may be happening there. So number 5, falling asleep instantly everywhere isn't a superpower. Number 6, melatonin. Melatonin is a timing signal. It's not a knockout pill. Melatonin works best when used correctly, and often it doesn't fix insomnia. A lot of people just take melatonin as a nighttime going to bed aid, as if they were taking it as a nightcap. Like some people use alcohol, some people use THC. But the critic would say here, it helps me sleep. Why should I overthink it? If it helps me sleep, I should take it. I've been doing it for the last 5 years. It seems reasonable because it is marketed like a sleep aid pill. But the science shows that melatonin shifts circadian timing. It actually shifts circadian timing. So the wrong dose or timing, which a lot of these supplements have been tested and they don't have anywhere close to what they say is on the package. The wrong dose or the wrong timing often leads to disappointment, not better sleep. Chronic insomnia responds best to something called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, not supplements. So use your melatonin as a circadian timing shift. For example, if you're getting back from a long trip, maybe you just got done traveling and you're coming back from the East Coast to the West Coast, and you know that your circadian rhythm is all jacked up. This would be a good time to use melatonin. This is the time that you can use it to help you get back on track. There are other things that you can do and that you can take if you need to have a supplement in order to get to sleep more. Don't combine late night light and stimulation with melatonin. This is a really bad combo. So if you're staying up late at night and you're watching something really stimulating, and then expecting the melatonin pill to just knock you out, this is not the way to go. If you are someone that struggles with really, really consistent sleep issues, seek out some CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and see if that can help you out with your insomnia. It might take that route rather than just trying to have a pharmaceutical. So melatonin is a timing signal, not a knockout pill. Number 7, nighttime urination isn't always just about aging. People think about, oh, I'm getting older, so I have to have more bathroom breaks at night. The frequent claim here is that nighttime urination can be linked to sleep apnea. A critic would say it's just fluids or it's just getting older. Everyone goes to the bathroom at night, and 1 or 2 times is not terrible. The one is about average, actually. But the fluids and getting older, those are common contributors. But in sleep apnea, breathing disruptions actually trigger hormonal and pressure changes that increase nighttime urination. So treating the apnea often reduces nighttime urination. Many causes exist here, but apnea is often missed. So if nocturia, going to sleep at or going to the bathroom at night, and snoring, if you go to the bathroom at night a lot, if you snore, and if you have daytime fatigue, well, then I would suggest, and the experts suggest, that you should get screened for sleep apnea. Don't normalize these symptoms and don't just chalk it up to aging. This really is going to affect your sleep quality, and that is just a negative feedback loop that really has negative outcomes in the long term. So number 7, nighttime urination isn't always just about aging or having a bunch of fluids inside you. Number 8, you can't out nap a broken night routine. Naps can reinforce poor nighttime habits if misused. I've heard people say, naps help me survive. I have to nap. And it feels reasonable because they do provide short-term relief. But the science shows that late or long naps reduce sleep pressure. Dr. Matt Walker talks about this all the time. You have this thing that's called sleep pressure that builds up throughout the day. So long naps reduce this sleep pressure, making it harder to fall asleep later. And it just perpetuates this cycle. Short and early naps, they definitely can help some people. And some people do really well with short, early naps. But long, late naps in the day often hurt. So action steps for this one: nap about 20 to 30 minutes max if you're going to take a nap. Do it earlier in the day, before like 2 or 1, and then fix nights first. You can get ahead of this thing by really setting yourself up with a nighttime routine. Naps are a tool, not a solution. So fix your nights first, and then the early short naps can come second. Number 8, you can't out-nap a broken night routine. Just a couple more here before we close. Number 9, TV at bedtime isn't neutral background noise. Having your TV on is not just neutral background noise. TV introduces things like light, but it also introduces variability and stimulation to the brain. Some people have said, I can't sleep without a TV on. And this is because conditioning is powerful. You've conditioned yourself to be like that. The physiology shows that unlike steady noise, like something like Brain FM, if you go to Brain FM and you put on some binaural beats, that is steady noise, the white noise. Unlike steady noise, TV content, it fluctuates and it engages attention. This is going to fragment your sleep whether you know it or not, subconsciously or consciously. There is some nuance here. Some sound is fine. Some people think it has to be completely quiet, but consistency matters with the sound. Your body and brain will wake up to one-offs, these fluctuating and engaging sounds from the TV. So action steps: switch to fan or white noise. I recommend getting Brain FM, the app brain.fm. It's amazing. I've used it every single night for the past, maybe 7 years now, 8 years now. I love it. It has a bunch of different tracks. It has meditation, focus, sleep. It has nap, all this kind of cool stuff. Or you could just go on to like YouTube or find white or pink noises on those type of things. Some other action steps here is to use timers and to make content boring if TV stays. So if you have a timer on your TV that can turn off after like 15 minutes, just so that you can have it on while you go to sleep and then it turns off during the night, you can do that. Or you can make the content on the TV super boring. Turn on some like calming nature noises or something like that on YouTube. Number 9, TV at bedtime is not neutral background noise. And the last one here on our list, number 10, silence from a snorer can be a warning sign. So pauses following a snore and then followed by gasping can indicate really bad sleep apnea. Some people would just say, like my spouse, they make these noises, but they're just sleeping really deeply. It sounds reasonable because silence sounds peaceful, but not when you know someone has sleep apnea. So sleep apnea often presents as loud snoring and then silence and then gasping. And when this happens, oxygen drops in the body, and that strains the brain and it strains the heart. Not every pause is sleep apnea, but patterns definitely matter. So it's something to keep track of. There are apps that you can use that can record sounds, like it turns, your app is on your phone, and then it records any sounds that are made, and you can go back and you can listen to them. So maybe you don't have a partner that can tell you if you're snoring or not, but that might be a good route to go. You want to listen for gasping, choking, and then afterwards, daytime fatigue. You got to get evaluated. This, if untreated, apnea affects longevity big time and performance in the short term too. So in closing, sleep isn't a luxury habit. It's emotional regulation, it's metabolic control, it's training adaptation, it's decision-making capacity. It affects your emotions, your metabolism, your recovery from training, your decision-making. And if you want a happier, healthier, more fit and long lifespan, sleep is not optional. It is foundational. It is one of the 4 pillars we talk about of total wellness and health. And sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to stop lying to ourselves about what's going on and actually go and fix those things that need to be fixed. So hopefully this helps. If you have anyone in your life that might be struggling with sleep apnea, send them this episode. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this Wellness Wednesday episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could benefit from what we talked about today. To support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, and leave a review telling others how this podcast benefited you. Leave a comment as well. And this is really a non-cost way to help get this important wellness content in more people's ears. Tag me at livingthedream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know how this episode benefited you. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Living the Dream team that we can discuss in future episodes. I will be right here with you, working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.